Hello everybody, today I'm going to be talking about a Fae Arcanist build that I made. I made this because I kind of tilted a little bit playing my ninja, kept rolling one, so I said, you know what, I'm going to play a compulsion person, and I'm just going to have them roll instead of me roll. Obviously I'm still going to have to roll, but I was trying to make a character with the idea of just trying to make other people save while I minimal roll since I kept rolling ones. So first off, I did this at level 13. The reason why is because that's kind of the average level a 1E campaign gets to. So making this all the way at level 20 is kind of pointless because if any of you were to use this, chances are you're not going to actually make it that far. But I took the Blood Arcanist archetype. Reason for that is because just to play into the Fae theme, it's not really for any specific min-max purpose. It was just I thought it was cool and fun, stuff like that. So I am a Gathlane. This gives you +2 charisma, +2 dex, -2 con. A couple of cool abilities like Entangle, Feather Step. Not bad, not bad. Ability scores, I went 7 strength. Kind of tanked it because I don't really need it. Dex 12. Tried to have a little bit of a dex, I guess, just, specifically for your ranged touch attacks. It's good to kind of buff dex. Con 16, con 10 and 18. Wisdom 12, Charisma 20. Some people tank con. I don't like it because it's really easy to get one shot as an Arcanist early on if you tank your con, so I'm not really a fan. Int Charisma are what various things scale with as the Arcanist. So, like, Consume Spells scales off Charisma, and then your Arcanist DCs for spells scale off Intelligence. So I try to make those both pretty high, and Arcanists have all knowledges, so having a higher int score is pretty good. So, for skills, this is kind of how I have them set up. I do have magic items that is based on the average starting wealth of a level 13 character, which I believe is 140,000 gold pieces. So I have something around that. So yeah, it says my gear value is 120,000 gold pieces. So yeah, so I'm kind of within that. These are the skills I took. Since you have a fly speed as a Gathlane, so I took fly just because I believe your fly speed is like poor or something like that. So it's not like it's perfect. So you do have to make fly checks. So that's good for that. You'll notice it says 13. That's because I have a magic item. Headband of mental prowess. And so bluff, perception, spellcraft. Oh no, never mind. I take that back. I guess I just put 13 into fly, but bluff, yeah, spellcraft and perception. You kind of want those maxed out because it's really gonna help you. Having perception is the most rolled skill in the game, so like not having perception is kind of rough. And since you don't get that, I take fugitive and seeker. You gain a +3 bonus to perception checks to determine awareness for a surprise round, and then you get a +1 trait bonus to perception checks, and it's always a class skill for you for seeker. So that's I always typically have a little bit of a bias for buffing perception because it's used a ton. Spellcraft, use magic device, stuff like that. All the knowledges in the world, which is really good. Another good reason to buff your intelligence on an Arcanist because of that. So going into the Arcanist abilities, so I'm a big fan of taking the defensive Arcanist exploits early on. Now there is kind of a limited amount of good Arcanist exploits, so eventually you are going to run out of ones to take, just because like they're just not, like, some of them just really aren't that amazing. But I like to take Arcane Barrier. This is just going to help bridge your way into the mid game first. Taking something like Counter Spell or Armored Mask is also pretty good. If you take Armored Mask, what's cool about this is by spending 2 arcane points, you get Shield of Faith and Mage Armor. So pretty big AC buff, so you're getting a +6 AC by taking this. So taking Armored Mask and Arcane Barrier early on isn't bad. And remember, you can take extra Arcanist exploits with your feats. So remember that whenever you're choosing, because so you can get some early. So like at level 1, you could get Armored Mask, and then you could take, and then at level 2, you could grab Arcane Barrier. Just keep taking the extra Arcanist exploits, and you will get up there. Counterspell's pretty good. And then greater counter spells pretty good as well. So highly recommend getting those at some point. I mean, the rest of the stuff here is more for you to get at your own leisure. I do recommend picking up at least one of the damaging ones because they have really good DCs, like DC 24 to not be sickened. Sicken makes them take like a -2 to like most of their rolls, so that's actually pretty good. And then you have Ice Missile, DC 24 fort save, and that makes them to where they are staggered for 1 round. Staggered is pretty good because it makes it to where they can't do anything other than like very basic actions like a move action or like a standard. It's like you can take like a move action and a standard action or something like that. So these two things kind of really slow down whatever you're fighting's progress. Dimensional Slide is an amazing movement, so you can expend 1 point from your Arcanist ability, your Arcanist reservoir, to pretty much move up to 10 feet extra per Arcanist level to any location you can see, like as part of your move action. So, that's pretty good. You pretty much just have kind of, you can move wherever you want and it doesn't provoke an attack of opportunity when moving in this way. But any other movement she attempts as part of that does provoke. So like if you're standing next to something and you say move action dimensional slide, you get to move out of something's space without actually provoking. So that's pretty good. So, these to me are probably one of the better ones, or these are probably the best Arcanist exploits in my opinion. There are a couple other good ones, but these are the ones I prefer. Potent Magic, I think this is good because it increases. So as an Arcanist, you can use a point from your arcane pool to increase the DC of a spell by 2. So when you combo that with the Fae thing, your compulsion spells, you can give like a +4 to the DC on that. That's pretty intense. So it's like boost DCs by 2 here, right? And then you go look at the Arcanist stuff, and I mean, you're talking a DC 18 on a cantrip, or DC 19 reduced person, Shadow Trap DC 19, and then you get to like Hideous Laughter 22, right? You get to Unnatural Lust 22. So Arcane Reservoir +2, Sub-Skill bonus +2. So there's a lot of cool, a lot of cool stuff with buffing that kind of stuff. Feat wise, I just take extra Arcanist exploits, and then I took Intensified Spell. So it increases the maximum number of damage dice by 5 levels. This just makes it to where, so like for example, if you have a spell like, where am I going here? If you have a spell like Snowball, you can intensify it and make it to where it can do 10d6 now. So, or, Burning Arc, if it does 10d6 and let's say level 15, now you can make it do 15d6, etc., etc. You'll just make it to where it'll do just a lot, quite a bit more damage. Now, so in terms of spell selection, I took things like Deja Vu. This just makes it to where whatever action they take, they have to take the next round. So if you use it and they decide to make like a move action or something, that means the next round they're going to have to make another move action. I take Mage Armor. You don't need to really take Mage Armor if you don't want to. There's other options like, Befuddled, Combatant, Mind Wipe is pretty good. Visibility Greater, True Seeing. So this is just kind of what I have in the spell book. Suggestion, Unadulterated Loathing. This stuff is all compulsion stuff. Amnesia compulsion, so like all this stuff right here. Confusion, you can take that. These are all really solid things to take. I'm really a fan of Mind Wipe. I think it's kind of fun. I just think it's funny inflicting 2 temporary negative levels on a target for 1 day per caster level. It also causes them to lose a prepared spell from our highest level of spells known. So like using this on a boss if they fail and they're a spellcaster is pretty solid. Lightning Arc. It's always good to have, kind of a slew of damaging spells as well. Touch of Slumber is pretty cool. It just makes it to where It just makes it to where something falls asleep, and if they fall asleep, they're helpless. So this is a pretty cool combo in that if you do pass this, you can just tell your fighter, hey, go hit that guy, because they're not going to wake up from sound with Touch of Slumber, but they will, slapping or wounding an affected creature awakens, but normal noise doesn't. So you can, if they fail this, your warrior can walk up and just do a full round coup de grace and probably kill whatever it is. Kind of a cheesy way to play, but it is pretty, pretty strong, I'd say. Chain Lightning, just more fun damage spells. Vengeful Outrage. Um, you place a magical command upon a creature to seek out and destroy a single enemy that has inflicted some perceived or actual harm to the target. The reason why this is cool is because if you cast this on your warrior or your whatever, they will, and they just do it, they will literally just go after this person. They'll get a +3 on will saves. They become immune to the shaken and frightened conditions. Get a +6 morale bonus to strength and con, and because it's a morale bonus, not a lot of things give that, so you could just absolutely just walk up, touch, and it lasts for a minute a level. So, if you see a boss, right, if you say oh hey, go kill the, I don't know, this, for example, say the Hill Giant King, dude, you will just, your fighter's gonna love you if you cast this on him during a boss fight for sure. Hideous Laughter. You have things like this that can kind of make people lose their turns, stuff like that. But yeah, things like Invisibility Sphere is good. I always recommend this because it gives everybody invisibility, not just you. Heroism, give everything a +2 morale bonus. Pyrotechnic Eruption, solid damage ability. Lightning Arc, solid damage ability. Chain Lightning, solid damage ability. Solid damage ability. Scorching Ray, solid damage ability. So pretty much every spell level that I like to take 2 kind of utility or situational things, and then I like to take one. Damage ability, and that's just because the Arcanist is kind of like the sorcerer, to where even though if I was to cast Mage Armor, for example, I don't only have one cast of Mage Armor. I have let's say, so I have 5 level 1 spell slots. So that means I can cast Mage Armor 5 times a day if I want, or I could cast Mage Armor twice, cast Reduce Person 3 times, etc. It's just more about how many spell slots you have as opposed to what you have prepared. So Arcanist is pretty good in that way. But yeah, so for magic items, I have Belt of Physical Might with Dex and Con, just to buff your health and to buff your ranged touch attacks. Cloak of Resistance +5, because you're going to suffer with your Fort and Reflex for a while, so getting a Cloak of Resistance early is pretty good. Headband of Mental Prowess, +6 with Int and Charisma. That's going to buff your spell DCs again, so +6, and then +8 on Charisma. And you can also be a face with this kind of stuff, so that's pretty good. Getting a +5 Mithril Buckler is pretty good because there's no arcane spell failure chance, and it gives you a +5 AC because you only need to have one arm open. So if you notice, I have 32 AC. And the last reason for that is if you can, get Reduced Person permanency on yourself, because since you don't really need to be medium, so if you make yourself tiny, it's going to give you another size bonus on top of you have the natural armor and stuff like that. But alright, and then when you have Mage Armor, Shield of Faith as well. So yeah, you can have a really high AC for an Arcanist, and your touch AC is 21, which is still pretty decent. Flat-footed is 27, so for an Arcanist, pretty good ACs. But yeah, let's see, is there anything else? Personal, I have a bunch of languages. Yeah, but I think that should just about do it. Yeah, this has been my Arcanist build. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you decide to play something like it, hopefully I drummed up some good ideas for your characters. Thanks.